shadows of darkness, let the world fade away. And I don't know what's out there, but it's got to be better than here. I feel the end is near, so near. Show me how to see. Teach me how to be, how to look for things that I can't see. Tell me what's to become of me in the end.
I'd like to welcome you. Thanks for joining me. This is about EVPs and how to properly do your EVPs. A lot of people think just because you carry around a recorder and you pick up stuff that you possibly got a good EVP, which is very, very not true. EVPs or an digital audio recorder can pick up to a quarter of a mile of distance away. So if you're picking up something, sometimes you might not be able to get exactly that. There's no telling what you'll get. So you need to be really, really careful when you're doing your audios and where you're doing them at. Sorry, I gotta have these on too. So you need to make sure when you're doing your audios, you're at least a pretty good distance from where there's a lot of noise. That's why last night we ran the Sorrel Weed House. We don't have all that noise that you have on a Friday and Saturday night with a bunch of bars and crowds running around. So that's why I went there last night. Eliminate some of that possibility of getting those bad EVPs from people in the bars, late night strolls and stuff like that from people walking by the Sorrel House. Of course, you got some places that are a pretty good distance away from anything, and you don't have to worry about that. But distance music can actually be picked up, and people get confused sometimes with their EVP sessions that they're actually getting something when it's music being played distances away. That's the problem with digital recorders. There's two types of audio captures you can get. One, people call Class A. I just say it's intelligent. And two is what's called an EMF stamping. I've been lucky enough to capture one of those, but other than that, those are really difficult to capture. You can take your recorder to get an EMF stamping, which is electromagnetic field stamp on your digital recorder. You could actually take and cover your microphone completely to where it hears zero, even if you're talking into it with it in your hand. To get that, you just got to cover up the microphone as thick as you can with tape, or put some gauze over it and then start running tape over it and cover it completely to where there's absolutely no sound coming through it. And then if you get anything on there that's considered an EMF stamp or electronic stamping on an audio recorder, to kind of give you an idea of how that works. If you remember, telephone guys, when they're checking your landline, your telephone line, they'll have a device that they can stick on top of the line, and it actually hears static or hears noise within the line, and they can tell where a break is. It's the same concept, and that's what happens, and that's how an EMF stamping occurs. It can electronically put it through on your recorder. It's kind of weird. Ghost box and EVPs. Ghost box is a little different. We'll get into that here in a little while on how to understand and how to make sure you're hearing, and what you're hearing is not radio bleed-in versus an actual anomaly. I've got several recordings for that to hear. I was trying to find a good EVP to for you guys to hear an anomaly and what it looks like on the grid, but trying to talk while that screen's up is I have no audio to communicate to you, so we won't be able to get into that too much. But going back to standard EVPs, audio recorders, there's several different types you can get. You can buy a Olympus for $50, or you can buy one for as little as $10-15. But the thing is, you want to make sure is that you can download, onto your computer, so that way you're actually able to verify either using Odyssey, which I have on this one, and then I got WordPad, which is on another computer, which I prefer to use. It's a lot easier. It's a lot cleaner and crisp when you check your audios. Part of during your investigation process, when you're doing your EVPs, try not to carry or hold your audio recorder. They do hear sound. Most of them are made of plastic, and that sound sometimes makes a lot of tapping noise, and then on your audio recorder it sounds horrible when you're trying to listen to it. So don't carry it as much as possible. Set it down, set it somewhere within the area, and run it for about 20 minutes. Start and stop it, and then restart it. You don't want to get 2 hours of audio where you're sitting here in front of your computer watching 2 hours of audio going, oh my God, I've got to go back through it all. I fell asleep. So you don't want to do that, because listening to a lot of static sometimes will put you to sleep really quick. So don't spend too much time. Just, make sure you get your audios in about 15 to 20 minute increments, and then start and stop it all over. It just makes life a lot easier for you, and you're going through and checking all your audios. I did not go through last night's as of now. I will, but I'm not going to do it tonight. But to give you an idea on what you're looking for on EVPs, when you're going through, most EVPs are going to be a maximum of at least 3 words. Any more than that, it's been faked. It is somebody else talking, or it's from the distance. If you get something with more than 3 words, you're doing really something really great, or whatever you charge them up with is immaculate, and I want to buy it. So trust me, if you're getting more than 3, you're getting a lot. Most words won't come into 1 or 2. Sometimes just 1 is about the max you're ever going to get. So if you hear somebody help, or said, oh, I got one, listen to this. It says, help me please. Oh God, help me please. No, there's no way. There's no anomaly that has that much energy that could last that long charged and say that many words. You can disagree with me. Anybody can disagree with me on that. There's just no way. It takes so much energy just to get 1 word out that for them to do that is just entirely impossible. So what you're looking for in your graphs, when you're going through your Odyssey, what you're looking for are, of course, you're going to see a line. If you're running a standard EVP, you're going to see your line, your centered, your right standard hertz of hearing. Right, then it goes up or it goes down. What you're going to look for is an up and down kind of right into that line. What that is it's the amount of hertz that are being put into it. Usually it'll start high and then it'll taper down to a negative. The reason why is because you can't hear below that negative bar. So what happens is they get a burst of energy, they say their word, start the word, and they weaken off, and it tapers down to a negative hertz where we can't hear no more. Our hearing level of hertz is at about 20. That's the lowest, the common, most average person can hear at. Anything less than that is not below our range of hearing. So you're looking at 20 hertz as standard that most people hear at, and anything less than 20, nobody can hear under. So it's kind of give you an idea of what that is. Also, all right, so let's get into a couple audios here. I'm gonna run a ghost box session for you, so that way you can, oops, that was a little quick. I gotta figure out which one we are gonna be listening to. I forgot which one this is. Okay. All right, this one is going to be right at the beginning. Right, I'll circle right in the area here where you're going to hear the anomaly say something within the skips is what you're looking for. On a ghost box session, when you're doing your ghost box session, when you hear it's something going through and you hear it in the breaks, that's, if you hear the chopping of the scanning, it's not any good. What you're going to hear is going to go right through that scanning. It's kind of like it's layered over top. This is a pretty decent, or actually this isn't the best example. I do have a better one, but I got like 5 or 6 of these up there, so y'all can really go through it and you can really hear it. A lot of people think the radio station bleed in. I take the antenna out of my SB7 ghost box. I use a Faraday bag for extra protection. Last night, if you listened last night to the ghost box session, you didn't hear any radio frequencies. That's because I take every precaution to get rid of that. A lot of people like to run their ghost box session with an antenna out. There's no need for it. All you're doing is putting yourself at higher risk of getting false EVPs off of there. So I usually run, and a safe speed to run at is 150. If you run it at 100, it's going to be going so quick, you're going to miss anything and everything. You're not going to be able to hear anything audibly through it. If you run it at 200, 250, 300 on the FM band, it's going to be so slow that one of two things are going to happen. You're going to get bad radio bleed in. You're going to hear DJs off in the distance, and if you're using, like I do, if you're not using a Faraday bag or still have the antenna on there, you're going to hear radio stations bad, and you're not going to be able to tell if it's an actual anomaly versus a good EVP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play this one, and then I'll come back, or actually I'm going to play 2, let you hear them a couple times. I'll probably play them a couple times each, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about each one to see a little bit better. So let's do this. Okay, I don't think it did right on there. No, it didn't. For some odd reason. Let's do
Just say 40.
Did you say 40?
Yeah, oh yeah, plain as day. Just say 40.
Did you say 40?
Yeah, oh yeah, plain as day.
So as you can tell when you heard it real quick, but it went through the Gordy, went through a couple different stations through that, or through the skipping, so and that's why you saw it. But I've heard people say, well, why you got to manipulate it? If I heard that, 1,000 times, you're gonna go, hey, something doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound like that's what you had said. So you kind of want to go through and adjust your audio as you can. Picture dark. If you're on and you can see this, please send me a chat message that says, but you can see it. I got somebody that says they can't see it. I was just curious. Alright, but let's continue on so that way, if it is working right, I'm not warning you guys for sitting here waiting. Alright. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna listen to another audio, we're gonna check and listen and see what exactly, I'm talking about, where you can hear the layer over the skips. That's why you run it in, one reason you run it in reverse is you don't want that risk of that radio bleed, because radios, if you go up in your radio stations, you'll hear it going up. If you go reverse, you can't hear radio stations going in reverse, so you got a better chance of distinguishing what is an anomaly versus what is radio bleed there. So you don't want to go forward on your SB7 when you're whatever you're using a spirit box, ghost box, whatever class number, whatever. I stay with the standard 7. It doesn't have all the extra gadgets, and all the other crud on it. It just makes it a little more difficult. And it seems like it's more convenient with more stuff, but the more stuff on one device, the more chance you've got device activating another. So I try to stay away from that. K2s just need to be a K2. SB7 or ghost box just needs to be a ghost box. REM pod just needs to be a REM pod type thing. I don't know if it's other gadgets. That's me. But, you might be different, but that's fine too. Okay, good deal, kid. All right, so this audio is this is a little bit older one I've got. So we're gonna play this one. I'll play it a couple times.
Can you say my name? Can you say my name? Can you say my name?
You died in a car accident? Were you alone? How did you feel if we tried to get you out? Easy. How did you feel if we tried to get you out? Easy. How did you feel if we tried to get you out? Easy. How did you feel if we tried to get you out? Easy.
Were you alone?
No.
Were you alone?
No.
Were you alone?
No. No. No.
Okay. Is that better? Sorry about that, Tim. All right, so when you're going through your EVPs and you're verifying your EVPs, what you're looking for, besides that high peak to low peak, you're also wanting to check mouths. You're wanting to make sure when you're going through all your audios and you spend all that time verifying your actual audio to make sure it's something, you do need to go back and check your video also. Make sure nobody has done what I call a thinking word, where it was this, somebody sitting there and they go, yeah, type thing. Or they're getting ready to say something and they say what I call a thinking word. They start to speak but don't fully start it, and then they start talking. I do it a lot. I catch myself a lot doing it. Good deal. So I always got to make sure you got plenty of cameras watching, not just for anomalies, but it's also for watching for your mouth, to make sure somebody's mouth hasn't moved on something that could be a slight, getting ready to say something, so they start a word and don't finish it. You want to make sure you catch that on video, so that way you have backed up when you verify your EVP. So there's a lot of stuff. On average, if I'm verifying one word, a yes, it ends up taking me right about an hour. Get all the information on that one yes. Good audio. But, yeah,